Greetings and salutations, folks. My name's Nick, and welcome back to Call of the Sea, where it appears...
I should be scared, but it's hard to explain what I feel, but it isn't fear. Not a bit.
No, now is not the time for fear. That comes later. After we have successfully become a fish.
Another one of those gates, like the one I saw in the temple.
Ah. Does this transform us back to being a human?
I'm back to being me.
Huh. Spots and everything. I still, the farther I get in this game, the more I wonder, like, are you actually going to be able to find Harry? Is the remaining parts of the team still alive, or have they too turned into fish?
It's hard for me to understand how these gates work. What happens every time I cross one of them?
Is it like, the Hex in WandaVision? It changes you deep inside. And what have we here? Are we going to be dealing with underwater puzzles?
Another panel of this strange technology. What's it for? Something related to the currents?
Huh. Wait a second. And then maybe now? Or do I need to flip this around? That way the air pressure is going in the other direction. Or was I right the first time? Nope, okay, there we go.
Wow. The island is pierced by underground currents.
I mean, I suppose you could say that turning into a fish is a new lease on life, but at the same time, you don't really know what she's necessarily losing. Other than Harry, like, what life is she leaving behind? Is there a gate that I missed? Yes, there is. Not to mention, if she has this god's blood in her, and
That architecture again. Where is this gate going to lead me now?
and her mother had a similar sickness, does that mean her mother has turned into a fish somewhere? Or died from the inability to turn into a fish? As in, like, her body was destined for metamorphosis.
Quiet and peculiar place.
Yes. I sense puzzles here.
Some sort of handmade tribal painting. Looks really primitive.
Get it? It's handmade. For some reason, I was expecting the hands to have a little bit more,
I wonder who used to live here. It seems it was abandoned ages ago.
a little bit more significance.
I understood that.
Yes. Is that a good thing? Probably not. Let's see. That looks like a like a destination I'm trying to get to.
We slaves, masters have come to.
Heavens, slaves and masters and...
Wasn't Nakal in the notes?
Wasn't Nakal in the notes?
I called it. I assumed the pronunciation was I think Nasal.
Although they are the same style, these huts are much simpler than the magnificent architecture I've seen up to now. Whoever the inhabitants were, they were living here against their will.
Which would explain why the structures here are not quite as nice. They saved the good furnishing
Someone
for
vandalized this mural.
the
Some
masters.
hands look human, but others are amphibian hands.
Which presents the idea that perhaps they had enslaved people and forced them into becoming fish. Alright, let's go, it's hard to tell what's progress in this area, so I'm thinking this isn't, in this direction. Across this bridge, it looks like it just leads to two, small huts. This is one of my favorite Windows 98 screensavers. And what have we here?
Some slaves die, some slaves now water animal.
Water animal. Is that what I am now? The inhabitants of this village lived at different altitudes. Some even lived inside the water. They used this sort of dam to lower or raise the water level.
Oh no, it's a water level. Truly, even this game is cursed with one of those. I'm guessing that switch changes the water level height. Ah, but it actually affected these buttons that I've already pushed. Alright, let's push them again. See if we can find more of these areas. Let's go up the bridge first and then go down. Oh.
Is that black blood the same thing as the black ooze?
Interesting. So the black ooze was is essentially
How can I explain
space,
what's happening to me?
like
What
an
is the
alien.
meaning of all this? God's blood, transformation, eternal life. I feel like I'm going through what was written in that inscription. Black blood in eyes, like in the well.
Yeah. To open up the vision.
This reminds me of some prehistoric cave paintings. Like in the Cueva de las Manos in South America.
Alright, and then there is also a lower area. Probably has its own switch to be switched on. And then I could presumably change the height of the water in this area. But the idea that... so apparently people were already turning into fish prior to the arrival of the asteroid. Which I'm assuming is the fire from the sky. There was already the god that was awoken.
There are some hand marks made with pigments. I wonder if they mean something. I better draw them just in case.
Symbol order. Huh. Wait a second. I think we are getting the clues we need. And there should be one more, maybe. I get it now. So I need to find these switches, and I need to hit them in that specific order. Unfortunately, I have no memory as to where the switches are based on the symbols that are nearby them. So that one is number 4. But because I've already hit the switches, that one's number 1. I'm going to have to essentially go back through and hit all of the switches again. So, I'm guessing like when I hit this, nothing's going to happen. Okay, so 1 second while I just skip through this real quick like. Number 1. Alright, so this would be the yellow hands, so that makes it number 2. Number 3. Number 4.
It seems that each family had to agree somehow to change the water level. I'm amazed at how organized they seem to be.
And I
Despite
think
them
this
being
is
so
actually
primitive,
number
being
5.
trapped here probably made them
But I could be
stronger as a
horribly wrong.
community.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. Now to walk all the way downstairs. Alright. And now I can press this
This
button.
civilization used these devices to raise and lower the water level. It's impressive.
Especially since the mechanisms themselves are relatively hidden. For now, though, let us become a fish again. Also, how does that how do these gates necessarily work? That it maintains her clothes from transformation to transformation. Now, I imagine I'm tempted to do something. If I leave the water, do I leave as a fish? I cannot leave the water. I was going to say, there seems to be... I'm not expecting to be able to travel around on land in fish mode. But this is definitely a very expansive underwater area. I suppose a little bit more than I expected, but at the same time, I suppose I should have expected a relatively large underwater area, considering the fact that the preview did show elements of fish mode.
They rebelled against their masters. The slaves seemed to worship two gods. This underwater town is a beautiful place, but it has also seen a lot of suffering. All the island is that way. Beautiful but dangerous. Danger does not seem to affect me, though.
Ah, hello. Are you people or are you old fish?
Different types of creatures of the same species lived here, but they weren't free.
Oh, hello. Now, is this the... Is this the proper direction this needs to be facing? Let's find out. The answer is probably not. So let's flip this around. Huh. Is that rock supposed to be there? And are there other things that I can change the direction of? Because I don't think I can change the direction of that. This one is facing in the other direction. Okay, but it can be changed. So I probably need to have it facing the other way. can I change the direction of these things? The answer is so far no. And then the question is, can I move this rock out of the way? Huh. Alright, I guess let's keep exploring a little bit more. Maybe we can find something that we're missing.
Different types of creatures of the same species lived here, but they weren't free.
Huh. I suppose the question is, what am I attempting to do? I can change the direction on that one, but it doesn't really send you anywhere. And I cannot change the direction on that one. Like, this one had a different polarity at first. Wait a second. Is there a switch up here? Ah.
I made it.
I'm assuming this closes? Yes, it does. Alright.
My illness has kept me from being happy. What I feel now is the complete opposite of being sick. I feel full of life and energy. Even better than before my illness.
Let's see. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right. Is there a button here, or is it just... Ah, there is a button here.
Now the water level is really low, so I can access that tunnel.
Excellent. I'm glad that you know that I'm supposed to be accessing that tunnel. Oh, and this is where, yeah, this is where I was trying to
These
resurface
creatures
earlier.
live like slaves. All their lives imprisoned and tortured in this place. Was it possible to live a decent life in here? If you've lived all your life in a prison, how would you know that you are a prisoner?
Simple. You look at the people who are not prisoners. You look at the people who are free. You find yourself asking, why do they get to walk on the surface, while I remain a fish? Ah, that was the button I pushed to open up the gate. That is now kind of broken, I guess.
Now I can enter this tunnel.
This tunnel that is not at all foreboding. But I suppose that is the goal of slavery, is to encourage the slave to believe that he belongs in the shackles. Oh, another... Another one of these puzzles. They seem to really like... the developers seem to really like this particular puzzle in this section of game.
This current is quite strong. I wonder where it will take me.
Who knows where it will currently take you? Once again, I find myself asking, are these fish the former members of this civilization? Are they people who have found themselves on the island and disappeared? Oh my. You do your thing, fish. Though the idea that, like, a civilization, their technology had evolved to the point in which they could channel the current,
That was
the
quite
underwater
wide,
current.
But it's over now.
Though I suppose if your civilization lived underwater, like, that would be a technology that you would likely want to have. To want to develop. You wouldn't necessarily need to worry about developing fire.
That ladder. Someone set up camp in here.
And somehow got to this point, despite, whatever hurdles.
Looks like a means of transportation to get to that sanctuary. What is this? This... Oh my god. Did I almost forget about Harry?
Yeah, you got pretty caught up on being a fish. Boat transportation. So did Harry actually get off the island? And what about the other two surviving people?
Harry, that look on your face. You look deranged. They seem to loathe each other.
I can't stand your lunatic face. I can't stand the noise you make when you eat. I can't stand you.
She doesn't seem to care much about Harry. And she doesn't seem to be thinking straight either.
Harry's mental decline is more evident each day, but today he said he found out some place to carry out some ritual. I have to get to the bottom of this. I have to keep doing what I've been doing up to now. Listen to what he has to say and go along with him. I can't stand him, but I have to tread lightly, because it's only him and me now, and the black ichor. Ichor.
My dear old pal. It's only Cass and me now. I have much to thank her for, even if our friendship is worn thin due to hunger and fatigue. If she hadn't insisted so much, we'd never have convinced Aotearoa. He guided us as we followed the river down from the mountain peak. And that's how we found this entrance. And the mural. Maybe I can't undo what's happening to you, Nora, but I think I can try to become like you. The original inhabitants of this island took slaves to a sanctuary. And there, they performed a ritual. Te Aharoa said the ritual was madness, and he didn't want any part of it. He and Cass argued, violently. When we woke up the next morning, he had left. I know it sounds strange, but you have to trust me, my love. I know this is going to work, and we can be together. You understand what that means, don't you, Nora? We have a second chance. With more love than ever, Harry.
Harry? What ritual are you talking about? Why on earth would you want to become like me? Please don't be a fool. You don't even know if that ritual of yours is going to work.
Once again, I'm reminded of the movie The Wolf. Again, an odd sort of a werewolf story. Not in that the character turns into a werewolf, as much as the character turns into an actual wolf. And there's a point in the story where the main character is able to prevent themselves from becoming a wolf. But in order for them to save their love interest, they give up that protection, and they go on to turn into a wolf permanently. But their love, at the end, it appears as though the love interest is going to go along with them.
Somebody painted these symbols on the wall. You followed the river from the temple summit, and it took you some days to find this entrance.
Ruins useless. Where is the sanctuary? Taora building raft.
A sanctuary? Harry, was that where you went?
The masters brought their slaves to a sanctuary by boat in order to perform the final stage of the ritual.
Oh dear, poor people. Is this why I'm changing too?
It seems that the sanctuary was where the final stage of the ritual took place.
So the guide left the expedition. That would explain the workshop on the white sand beach, where I arrived.
Monsieur Everhart and Madame Ward, we had plenty of death in this island. I helped you as long as I could, but I won't be an accomplice to this ritual madness. I'm returning to the white sand beach to build a raft and leave this Maudit Isle? I'll be there if you change your minds, but I won't wait too long. Maruru, Roa, and au revoir. Au revoir, Shoshana. Oh yeah, him angrily eating cereal. Let's see what's on the other side of this area before we go out and up. This also kind of reminds me of the movie What Dreams May Come, which is a very, if you haven't seen it, it's an interesting film. It's about this guy who's...
Seems to show two possible courses of action. One means transformation, and the other means death?
It's about this doctor whose son dies. Then he dies due to a traffic accident. Then his wife commits suicide. And he goes to heaven and his wife goes to hell. And he essentially goes on a trip from heaven to hell in order to an attempt to save her. But the part that this particular part reminds me of is the idea that she didn't necessarily want him to save her. She didn't want him to just after their son died, she didn't need time away. She just wanted somebody to be there with her.
The sun is setting. It is so beautiful.
And that seems to be the ideology that Harry has going on right now. Like, he cannot help her, so he'll at least be there with her. They would suffer together. But let's see if we can make some sense out of this iconography. See, maybe if we missed like a clue in the puzzle, because the entire left page is untouched. I don't think there's anything else I need to look at that's up here. So let us go back down the ladder. See if we can find maybe some sort of mural on the wall that's going to occupy a large amount of that left page space. Give us a little bit of a clue as to what we're actually supposed to do with these icons. But there's only so many things I can look at in this area, so that does limit things. Maybe I have everything I need to know. Well, let's take a look at this this switch that we're meant to activate. How it works. Oh, wait.
This panel looks different from the others. It's much more elaborate.
Is this basically just a fancy version of the previous versions? Let's actually break out a stopwatch for this. So... and then we can see exactly how much time each individual part takes. So that takes about 13 seconds. That takes about 15 or 16 seconds. That takes about 10 seconds. And that takes about 4 seconds. So... nah, I hit that last button too quick. That's okay, I might... is it still okay? Almost, almost. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
This must be my transportation to the sanctuary.
Yeah, good job, me. Are we, leaving? Is this a pressure-sensitive boat? Ah, completed chapter 5. That was a relatively easy chapter, actually. A lot of the same puzzles, like a recurring puzzle, that just kind of evolved itself. Olgafin?
It all makes sense. Nothing bad is going to happen to me here, as menacing as this place might look. The island, the ooze, those sea creatures. They're just defending themselves, like a wild animal against an unknown threat. That's how they perceived the expedition, like a threat. But I, on the other hand, I wasn't a threat. And I definitely wasn't unknown, was I?
Hello, sir.
They seemed to recognize me, as if I was one of their own. Everything seems so distant now, as if I first stepped on that white beach thousands of years ago. A full moon? It can't be. Yesterday was a new moon. Did I lose track of time, or
Has it been 2 weeks?
maybe this place isn't subject to the laws of physics? That's the only explanation I can find for this surreal night.
Yeah, physics are only guidelines in this place.
It's hard to believe everything is real. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'll open my eyes sometime and I'll be back in our home in Inglewood and everything will be as before. My perfectly ordinary life with Harry. My daily routines. My illness. That will be as before too. And then I'll need to shake off this strange feeling that I have now. Feeling that I don't really belong there anymore. And with there, I don't mean Englewood, or Boston, or Newburyport. I mean... How is it possible that the strange events of only 2 days on this island makes more sense to me than the life that I've been living for years?
I don't know. It's a strange couple days.
There it is. The sanctuary.
But I think I'm gonna stop here for the night. Got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and have yourselves a good night.